Can anybody see it yet? Let me try that again. Could you see it when it was open a second ago? Okay, let me try again. I'm on the campground's Wi-Fi, so it's a little bit strange. Try again. Okay, someone give me a thumbs up when you can see all my Facebook notifications. Okay, let me close that. Where did it go? All right, okay, so I have some announcements I wanted to make. Happy Thursday. I know there was a bunch of people that were making big goals happen, so congratulations to everybody. I also got our Success Club leaderboard for the week just right before the call, so I figured rather than going and doing the post right before the call, I'll do it after, and I can celebrate everybody right here. So congratulations to Bethany and Tina, who are both qualified for Success Club 10 already in the month. That's amazing. And to all of our Success Club 5 qualifiers, Tara Lee, Savannah, Gabrielle, Leisha, Haley, Stephanie, Brooke, Rebecca, and Courtney, amazing job. Tons of people, though, that only need to help one or two more people. So this is amazing, you guys. And these numbers, like I always say when I'm typing, but to actually say the words, these numbers are not just representing, you know, a $40 commission or a check off one of your goals to get to Success Club. Like, these numbers are real people. All the numbers after people's names are at least one real person. So even if each of these was only one person helped, like, that is still insane as our team. And some of these are multiple people helped. I mean, Success Club 10 alone is 5 people each. So this is really, really awesome. And I wanted to take a second just to say how important it is that even though, yes, rank is really exciting and really important, and we have important rank goals that we all want to achieve because we want to move forward and we want to celebrate and hit those milestones and get all the stuff that comes along with it, I never want anyone to get in the hustle of Success Club and rank and forget that at our core, what we're really doing is we're helping people to find tools that can help them change their lives. Like, Beachbody literally changed my life even before the business side of it really took off. Just being in the community, just the tools that I was finally able to get in control of my health. And that's what we have the opportunity to give to people. And so this is a really cool thing. The Success Club leaderboard is not just to say, you know, like, oh, I got one more checked off for my goal for the month. It's to say these are lives being touched, and that's an incredible thing that we're accomplishing as a team. Next, our top producers. So congratulations to Tina again. Congratulated twice today. She is on fire this week. She was our top producer volume-wise, and this is pulled from each coach's PB from the last week. So sometimes, you know, a coach may have a lot of different sales that may not necessarily be a challenge pack, and I just want to make sure that they are being recognized for the fact that they're still touching people's lives as well. So congratulations to Catherine, Christine, Sarah, Wendalee, Rebecca, myself as I'm here, my second CBC, Gina, Jess, Jenny, Lisa, and Gabby. Amazing job. Okay, lastly, I have something really exciting that I want to share with you, and I hope that everybody here will take this and share it with their teams. I'm going to post it in the team page too, but feel free to screenshot this next slide. So a little something I want to do, and I know I'm starting it kind of mid-month, but I think that's okay, and we'll even do it retroactively for anybody in the month of May. But I want to do an Emerald City raffle is what I'm calling it. So there are a ton of new coaches on our team, ton. And there are a ton of new business builders who have just maybe one coach under them, and they're so close to Emerald. And Emerald is a really important milestone in your business because not only does it create momentum, it's the first thing that you get really publicly celebrated for as a coach, which is really exciting, but it also opens up your bonus cycle banks. So it takes your business from being able to earn income one way to being able to earn income in 2 ways. And that's really important if you are trying to build a business and you have income goals. So Emerald is that really important first step. And a lot of people kind of just get stalled out, or maybe they think it's harder than it is. And it's really not that difficult. It's just 2 coaches, one on your left leg, one on your right leg. And your sponsor coach can help you to make sure that you know how to set your placement. I'm not going to go into all of that, but this little graphic just says what Emerald is, how you get it, basically how simple it is, because it can really just be your spouse and a challenger, or 2 family members, or 2 friends, or 2 challengers. I mean, it's so simple. And these people don't necessarily have to be your coaches forever. Not every coach that signs up is going to be a coach forever. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to find like your lifers right from the very beginning. That's okay. But if it's something that is a good fit for them right now, or if it's a family member who wants to support you by getting a discount on their own products to be a coach under you, then that's amazing. Don't be afraid to talk to people about it. So what we're going to do is every coach in our entire team, the entire Aero Tribe, so my personally sponsored coaches, their personally sponsored coaches, your personally sponsored coaches, is eligible to do this. If you advance to Emerald for the first time in the month of May, so if you already were an Emerald and you jump rank and you get it back, this is not necessarily for you. This is for new Emeralds. You advance in the month of May, we're going to do a raffle. So all of the coaches who advance, we're going to draw 10 names randomly, and they're going to get to take their pick from what prize they want from this list. So all of the people who advance to Emerald, we're going to write their names on a big list. We're going to use random number generator to pick 10, and those 10 people are going to get to pick a prize from this list. So super fun, just an added little incentive for coaches to kind of get over that fear of starting to talk to people about the business, starting to build their business, because really in our heads, it's so much more scary and so much more hard than it really is. Do you have a challenger who's doing amazing that would be an awesome coach? Talk to them about it. Do you have challengers who are like all in and you know they're going to be here for a while and maybe they might really benefit from that discount? Talk to them about it. Would your spouse be willing to sign up to support you in being a coach? Would you have a family member that would be willing to sign up, even if they don't want to actively be a coach, just to support you and they can get the discount on products to be healthier? Talk to them about it. That's as simple as this is. So go and share this with your coaches, with your team, and get them all excited because we have half a month left to do it. And if any of your coaches, new coaches, advance to Emerald already in the month of May, we'll include them. So if they freak out thinking they won't be able to do it, let them know that's okay if they did it in the month of May. All right. So now I want to go back to our roundtable discussion. So hopefully everybody came with a couple tips to share. What I wanted to do for this team call was open it up to everybody to share their own ideas, their own tips, things that are working for them, because each of us is so unique and so creative. You guys are all amazing, and you all come up with the most inspiring, creative ways to reach your different audiences. And what works for me may not work for every single one of you. So I thought it would be fun to let all of you guys, actually this idea came from one of our team's diamond coaches, Stephanie. She thought it would be a really cool idea to do like a round table discussion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically name a topic, and anybody who wants to chime in, I want you in the chat to say me, and I'm just going to call on people and we're going to bounce around, and I want you to share just any tips that you have that work for you on that topic, or something you learned that you think is interesting, or something that you tried that worked really well, or whatever you want. Okay, so number one, let me go in order of what I wrote on our thing. Okay, number one, we're going to be talking about social media. Okay, so I'm going to intro it, and then I'm really just going to hand it over to you guys. So the better you guys are willing to share and talk, the more fun this call will be. If everybody's nervous and clams up, we're all just going to sit here in silence for the next 30 minutes. So be brave and talk. Social media. This is something that all of us coaches use in our businesses, whether you run your business primarily through social media or you do a combination of talking to people in person and social media. It's a wonderful tool because it's free, and we can share our journeys in a really authentic way, very naturally through social media. A lot of us already have been using it even before we were coaches. I personally like to use Instagram and Facebook and my blog as my main social media outlets. You don't have to use more than one at all. Those are just the ones I was already using before that came really naturally to me. I've been having fun on Snapchat recently. So my tip for social media would be to just continue sharing in kind of the same way that you did before. If you never used social media before, then maybe you'll have to kind of find your voice, but you don't have to all of a sudden change everything about what you're saying online, because people have been following you for a while and they already know you and they want to hear from you. They don't want to hear some sort of canned Beachbody script or canned coach thing where you're saying all the same thing as 100 other coaches. So my tip would be keep it real on social media. Just be yourself. You don't have to try and be me or be Bonnie Engel or be Melanie Mitro. You can just be you, and that is 100% okay. All right, we got lots of people who want to talk. So Tammy, you go first. Just unmute yourself when it's your turn.
One tip I would say, like I was struggling with adding friends and like expanding my cold market. So I started going into different communities that didn't have anything to do with health and fitness, but other aspects of my life. You know, like I'm a deputy wife. My husband's a deputy, so I joined a group on Facebook for law enforcement officers' wives. And it's a good way to connect with people that it's not necessarily through fitness and health and fitness, but you never know because they might be interested, you know, down the road, and you gain followers and friends that way. So that was a good tip that I started doing, and I've started gaining a lot more friends that way.
That's awesome. That is a great tip. Joining different communities, joining different groups. Facebook has like a group for literally any niche that you could possibly be in.
Everything.
And I think something that's really key about that is not going into the group and promoting yourself. Just going in and being a part of it, just naturally, and connecting with people that way. Because if you go in and you just say, hey, join my challenge group, everyone's going to like totally write you off from the very beginning. So really using it as a way to form genuine relationships. I think that's a great tip.
Posting and commenting like on what the group shares, you know, or what the group admin shares, you know, that's another way to like, you know, start conversations with people, and then they might like, oh, who is this person? And then go look at your page, and they, you know, and then you gain a follower that way.
So true. That is exactly what I've done when I've been in groups, and that's definitely the way that I've seen success come from it. That's an amazing tip. Thank you, Tammy. All right, Sarah Matthews, you're next.
Hey, so I have two just small little things, but I think for me, what I've been doing with Instagram and Facebook, those have kind of been my two main ones. And sometimes people struggle with like posting the same thing on both. But for me, that really works because I feel like Facebook has been a lot of what like my warm market and people that I've known and grown up with and coworkers and family and that kind of thing. Whereas Instagram, you know, I have a couple of people that are like that overlap, but a lot of them have just been cold market people or people I start following, and I've kind of gained momentum that way. So I post the same things, and I don't think that that's necessarily negative. And then this has maybe been brought up before too, but like I don't set Instagram to post to my Facebook. I just go to Instagram and post, and I go to Facebook and post. So you know how you can like post through Instagram and it'll say it's posting to Facebook. I don't do that. I just post two separate times. I thought that there was a reason that was better, but I don't know, Becca, if you know like the analytics behind it, but I thought that was a better thing to do. And then this is, I mean, on the back end of social media, but for Facebook, like I know, I don't know if you guys are like me, but every time I get like a message pop up and then I see it's like anything remotely related to my business or somebody has a question or asks me about a challenge pack or whatever, you're like, stop everything so I can respond to this person because, you know, and then all of a sudden you're like out or you're at Target or whatever. So instead of stressing myself out about trying to like do it on my phone and type it all out and all of that, I've been, I message them back right away through the voice messenger and just say like, hey, I'm out running errands right now, or hey, I'm at work, or hey, I'm whatever. But I have, you know, I'm going to get back to you with the info that you need after I put the kids to bed tonight, and give them a time that you're going to respond to them so that they know that it's coming. Because I've, you know, right now people I think they are in like this instant gratification, like they want something and they want it now. And so like, if I don't respond sometimes, or if I've waited too long, I mean, I had one girl I responded to, and she said, oh, I talked to this other Beachbody coach, and I got it from her, or oh, I ordered it off of Amazon or whatever it is. And so instead I just take like 30 seconds, respond back with the voice message, and then take the time to actually write out a genuine, thoughtful response when I actually am doing my power hour, or I do have time to do it.
I love that. That is such a helpful tip, especially for anybody who maybe feels like Beachbody tests are taking over their life. Because when you really think about it, it's not that there's a ton of stuff that we're doing, but it can feel that way when every time you hear a ding, you're stopping what you're doing to go do that, and your brain is kind of in a million places. But I know, we all get afraid that if we're not fast enough, we'll lose a customer, they'll go buy it on Amazon, or they'll go to another coach. And that, sometimes that does happen. So rather than being a slave to your social media, I love that tip of send them a quick little message, especially a voice message. People love voice messages, and most people don't even know that it's a thing. Like, they're shocked that they can hear you when they get a message from you. And I really think that it's awesome because it helps remind them that you're a real human. Sometimes online, with the anonymity and the fact that we're just kind of talking to pictures all day, we can forget that we're really interacting with a human, and we can tend to be a little bit hasty or more rude. So if you kind of remind them that you're a human and just say like, hey, got your message, so excited to talk to you, putting the kids to bed, but I'll get back to you soon. Then they know that you're not ignoring them, that you've seen it, and they might tend to be a little bit nicer and more patient with you. So I love that. And that way you're not just being reactive all day long to the messages. Okay, who did we have next? Brooke?
Okay, here I am. All right, I am, oh gosh, now everything on my desk is falling. I'm a creative person and a photographer, so I think that the quality of pictures are really important. I strive to put up scroll stoppers, but at the same time, I don't want to use my DSLR because I want it to seem really doable to all my coaches that are under me. Especially, I want them to know that everything that I'm doing, they can simply do too. So I purposely only post any Beachbody related things. They're all pictures with my iPhone. And I actually have this little nifty thing. It's just like a little tripod, and you guys can get it on Amazon. It's this little windy movie whatever. And if my husband's not here to like help me take pictures, and usually I'll just redo them after he does anyway. Then I just use that. Also, another little thing is I use Canva and like iPhone apps like Overgram instead of Photoshop and Lightroom, just because they're really simple and it's doable for anybody. It's not something super complicated that you have to buy and download. They're all free things that you can get online, or like under $10. So that was it.
What was the one you said after Canva?
Over. It's just an app that I use on my iPhone.
Ah, perfect. Okay, thank you. I love that. And you know what? Coming from a photography background, I actually made the same resolution where for now that we're traveling, I'm using like a point and shoot camera, but for the first 2 years, I pretty much only shared iPhone photos because I was so afraid that someone was going to know I was a photographer and accuse me of photoshopping something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I purposely only used my iPhone so that the pictures were bad on purpose compared to like the quality that I usually do for my work, because I wanted people, first of all, to know it's duplicatable, that you don't have to be a professional photographer. You don't have to have a $5,000 camera. You don't have to have any of that. And second, so that it was more realistic. Like most people use their iPhone to take pictures. And so I love that. So I don't think anybody needs to feel like pressured to have anything professional. So Canva, Over, VSCO is another really great photo editing app. Visco, my husband corrected me. All great things. Okay, let me see who is next. Mark. Whoever is under the name Mark.
Hi, my name's yeah. Here I am. Hi. How do I do it? Hi. How do I turn it on?
You're good.
Am I on? Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. This is my first time talking on one of these things. It's kind of exciting. I'm Cassandra, not Mark, but it's confusing. I know. Anyways, so what I found with posting on social media is that when I want to puke before I post, it's usually the most, like, I don't do it every time because that would be weird, but like at least once or twice a week, I'll want to vomit before I post. And those are the most effective posts for me. They're not posts about my family, but about me personally and my idea of body image and and all of that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so it's something that I found really, you guys are cute, really great. And yeah, the vomiting factor for me.
So that's how you know.
That's how I know, because that's how I get the most responses, is when I have the vomit factor.
I love that. Okay, so what I'm hearing is vulnerable posts, maybe? Something
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that makes you feel a little bit more vulnerable. I think that is spot on true, because while Facebook people do love pictures of cats and your kids and all that kind of stuff, those vulnerable posts are what I think separate you from the noise of all the other people that are, selling stuff in MLMs. There's nothing wrong with how many people are doing it, but it's a fact that social media can be inundated sometimes with it. So how do we stand out? I think that sharing those vulnerable things really helps people connect to you. That helps them see you as someone like them. Oh, if they can do it, then maybe I can do it. You're not just someone selling them anything anymore. Now you're a real friend. So I love that. And great little tip that if it makes you feel like you're going to puke, it's probably an awesome post. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. Oh, my computer just froze. What did I say next? Was it Success Club next on the list? We'll move on to Success Club anyway, because I can't see my original list. Okay, so tips about hitting Success Club. Quick little intro. I'm going to hand it over to you guys because I love hearing your tips. If you have a tip you want to share, say me in the chat so I can call on you. So we all know Success Club is 3 people, 3 challenge packs, basically. 3 new customers or coaches, either way. And it's hooking them up with one of our challenge packs, which are amazing deals because they're all priced at basically what a coach discount would be. Sets everybody up for success. Also feeds people right into your challenge group, which is a really important part of what we do as coaches. Now, I know that Success Club can kind of freak people out, and I really think that it's more of just getting nervous than anything else, because we can find 3 people in a month. That's less than 1 a week. So tell me your tips for hitting Success Club, finding challengers, talking about challenge packs. Hopefully more than one person will share a tip, but I'm going to go ahead and start with Lynette. Go ahead and unmute, Lynette.
Okay, sorry. So my tip isn't really about like finding challengers so much as mindset. And I know for me, when I stopped, pretty early on, I stopped looking at it as like a maybe goal, like I'm going to try for this. And as soon as I stopped saying I'm going to try to hit Success Club, and I started saying, yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club 10 every single month. It wasn't like I'm just going to work at this. It became non-negotiable, and not in that like, oh yeah, this is my non-negotiable, but like, yeah, well, of course I'm going to hit Success Club 10 because that's what I do. And it changed everything for me, because if you say you're going to try, you're probably not going to do it. But if you say you are, it's completely different. So I just really think that mindset is so huge in all of this business. Like when you believe in yourself and you believe you can do something, you absolutely will. But when you start doubting yourself and thinking, well, well, you're not, because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will either.
That is so true. I'm actually typing in yourself. No one else will either. I want to make sure I'm actually taking notes from everybody's key tips. I'm going to make a Google Doc so that everybody can have them all written down. That's such a good point. For me, that was exactly the same. So when I first started coaching, I hit Success Club 5 every month. And I remember a top leader, Brigitte Linford, told me that the top coaches in the company never hit less than Success Club 10. And I thought, oh my goodness, like I've struggled to hit 5 some months. There's no way I'm going to be able to hit Success Club 10 every time. Like that's crazy. That's 5 people a month. Oh my goodness. But I just said, you know what? I want to be a top leader, and that's what the top leaders do. So I'm going to have to figure it out. And in my mind, I remember it was almost like a switch. I just said, okay, Success Club 10 is the new Success Club 5. And literally from that month on, it's been Success Club 10. And I'm not saying that to brag at all. I'm just saying that I think mindset has so much to do with it, because to me, that was just what it was. I said 5 people a month. That's what I'm going to be looking for. And when you set your brain on something, you start to see opportunities that maybe you didn't see before, because that's the headspace you're in. So I think that's a great tip. Okay, Krista said she had a tip that kind of bridged both of these. So go ahead, Krista.
Sorry, I'm in the car. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Okay, good. So mine is kind of social media related, but also kind of Success Club related. Because I'm a newer coach, and I kind of struggled in the beginning, and I was inviting a lot of people, and I was getting a lot of no's, and I was getting really discouraged. But I was still kept inviting people, but I started really focusing on myself and like making sure that I was being a product of the product. And I posted this picture last week of me. It was like one of those posts that I like wasn't even going to post. I just kind of thought it wasn't a big deal. It was me in a dressing room trying on a dress. And like, I got so many responses from that, because it was like me showing like my progress and like what I had been doing. And a lot of people just really resonated a lot with them. So I think with Success Club specifically, I also like kind of changed my mindset. But I also just realized that it's also about connecting, just genuinely connecting with people. Like Carl like has even been saying that like it's all about inviting, but like making sure that you're building that relationship. And I found that my social media posts, like I do the coaching ones and I do the ones that are like specifically calling for action from people, but then just making sure that you're really just sharing your true self and like really making sure that you're working towards your own goals, because that is also like really big in having people join you. That's
oh my goodness, that is such a good tip. Such a good tip. And one that I think is very easy to lose track of when you're very goal-centered and you're thinking like, oh, I have to hit Success Club. Oh, I have to hit Success Club. And you're at your computer trying to hit Success Club instead of doing your workout, right? And I know that I'm guilty of that. I've totally done that before. Actually, Nate and I were talking about this in the car. A coach online in one of the leadership groups I'm in had said that she felt like being a product of the product wasn't enough anymore. And I said, I hear what you're saying, but I find that it's the opposite. I have never had as good of a month in my business as when I finished that 22-minute hardcore and shared my results, because I was being a 110% product of the product. And Nate said something that I thought was really, this will be Nate's tip, was really insightful. And he said, I think there's a difference between really being a product of the product and just kind of using the products, because just drinking a shake every day and not really changing anything else about your lifestyle is not really being a product of the product, just kind of using them. But you're not being a product, you're just using the products. Being a product is having some sort of transformation because of the products, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's energy, whether it's mental. And when you can share that with people, it is really compelling, because there are so many weight loss fads, there are so many things people have tried, but when they see a real person that they know, all of Krista's friends that are connected to her on Facebook that know she's a real person with a good heart, and they see that something she's doing is working, it makes them instantly build trust with her and what she's saying, and instantly be more curious about what she's doing. I mean, how many times have you seen a friend that you haven't seen in a few months that they look visibly different? You're like, please tell me all of your secrets. Like, what are you doing? That's exactly the feeling that people have. So if you have just been kind of drinking a shake here or there, or doing a workout here and there, and you're not really having traction with your Success Club Points Finding Challengers, it may be time to really look and see if you're using the products or being a product, because I think that that's a really good distinction that Nate pointed out. Okay, let me point on. Thank you so much, Krista. Who else had one? Oh, Mackenzie, you want to unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Something about inviting that I wanted to bridge in. Hey.
All right. That's perfect, because that's our next one. So we'll segue.
Oh, cool. But something that I found with Success Club, it's also the mindset that I've been finding, because for a long time I was really having a hard time hitting Success Club 5, but I wanted to make SC10 my non-negotiable. And I realized that a lot of my team was having the same problem, and we talked about it, and a lot of people were only inviting like a couple people a day or a couple people here and there. And even if everything else is lined up with sharing your journey and truly being a product of the product and doing everything else, if you're not actively messaging people, no one's going to sign up because they don't know how. And so something that has helped me up the amount of people that I invite in a day is, instead of like making it some huge task, I'll set a timer, be it like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever I have time for in my power hour. And for that time, I'm just sending out new messages. I think I learned this in the Beachbody Champions group, actually. But like setting a timer and just sending out new messages and not responding to their responses until the timer goes off, and just starting those new conversations, and however many you can get done in that 10-minute time period, to up the amount of people that you're inviting, instead of just inviting 2 or 3 a day.
I love that. So that I feel like we're having a trend here of things that are shifting from running your business in a reactive way to running it in a proactive way. So instead of reacting every time you hear a ding, to really focus on what your goal is for that time, whether it's your power hour or a little window of time you have in your day, and banging out whatever your goal is, and then being able to go back later and, do the other tasks. So I love that. And setting a timer is great, especially if you're really easily distracted, or if it's just the frog in your business that you don't want to do, like the book Eat the Frog. It's kind of the things that you should do, but you don't really want to do. If inviting is that for you, then set a timer for 15 minutes. Do as many as you can in 15 minutes, and then you're done for the day. And you've done it, and you can move on. And I love not stopping to respond to them until you get done, because that can be a really easy escape if you don't like inviting, to get your first message back and then spend the next 20 minutes talking back and forth with that person. Because, yeah, it's so much better to be able to start a bunch of conversations when you do have that window and then go back to them later. So that segues perfectly into our next topic, which is recruiting, which I don't really love that word, but there's not really I don't really know a more concise one for growing your team or adding people to your team. So if someone has a better word, feel free to share it. But chime in with me if you want me to have you share your tips for this. So recruiting to me is not just going out and finding people to sign up to be coaches. So I know that can feel a lot like what you have to do sometimes to rank advance, or maybe what you feel like is being said in trainings. But let me be really clear with what I mean when I say recruiting. I don't just mean like go out and sign up a bunch of people and throw a bunch of coaches on the wall and see who sticks. I mean that you're really trying to help people with the business the same way you would be with a challenge group. Like, you are talking to people who need this. They have talked to you about the things in their life that they need help with, and you can see that coaching can be a way for that. And you're sharing from your heart with them why you think that this is an awesome opportunity for them. Or it's someone from your challenge group that you really see potential in and you're pouring into them. So recruiting is not just sign up as many coaches as you can, because that's just a recipe for those coaches canceling and quitting and not really going anywhere. But recruiting is more, really finding people that this opportunity is amazing for them, helping them get started, duplicating, that success within them, and so on. So people, chime in with me for tips on recruiting, for growing your team, so that we can have you guys share. It's not just me. You hear me talk about recruiting all day long. Nobody wants to hear me talk anymore about it. So make me call on people, because I will totally call on you. I will just close my eyes and move my pointer to somebody. All right, I'm going to do it. Get ready. Brooke Buffington, tips on recruiting.
Oh, gosh.
Brooke is a newer coach on our team, but she has already added a fair amount of coaches to her team. So Brooke, how do you, as a new coach, find people to join you? Like, what are you saying to people? Are you looking for a specific person? Are these all people you already know? Tell us your secrets.
Okay, I am looking for very specific people, and so I'm trying to gear my posts that way, and my messages where I actually try to notice trends in people that are following and consistently liking my photos, and I start private messaging them just to touch base with them, especially if we haven't talked in a while, or or whatever. Only a couple of my coaches were people that I didn't really know well. I just kind of knew of. The rest were people that I kind of had on a list of creative people who I just really knew we had some similar goals and outlooks on life. One of them is actually brand new. She's here watching tonight. But I just kind of, gosh, I mean, I'm still figuring it all out as I go, but I'm just really trying to build relationships and make the relationships that I have even more about them and less about like, here's what I want and here's what you're going to do. It's like, what would work for you? Why do you think this would be a great fit for you? And
I love that. That's amazing. Brooke, that was so insightful. See, you shouldn't have doubted yourself. So that was a great. So a couple really good nuggets that I had in there I want to pick out. I love that Brooke has an idea in mind of the type of people that she wants to join her team, because I think that is a great benefit of what we do as coaches is you can pick your coworkers, basically. You're not just stuck with people in an office that you might not like. And like does attract like, so we tend to attract coaches who are similar to us or in similar stages or who have similar struggles. But if you do have something in mind, like a type of person you want to reach, a type of team that you want to grow, then posting with that person in mind is a great idea. And then I love that little nugget of looking through the trends. So who is liking and commenting on my things about my business? Maybe I can touch base with them. Maybe I can reconnect. Because a lot of times people will be too shy to initiate a conversation with you about what you're doing. Like they may think, oh, I haven't talked to her in 10 years. I don't want to just message her out of the blue and ask her what her job's about, you know? But if you open the door and just, you know, get that conversation started, like Brooke said, not necessarily about what she wants, not like, hi, do you want to be a coach? But hey, like, thanks for supporting me. Let's get caught up on your life. Like, what's going on with you? It can just open the door for those conversations down the line. I know that's been true in my life, where once I started, you know, getting caught up with someone, eventually they'll feel comfortable enough to ask me more about coaching, and that opens the door for me to be able to share with them. Okay, I got more people. Let me see. Krista. Krista, you got to unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Oh, that makes
So-
more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Did she join back again?
No.
Oh.
You can go ahead with your tip, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like really simple. It's nothing crazy. But when
Oh, wait, now you're muted.
okay. This side. Okay. So it's similar to, like I said before, I'm still really new to this. And when I first started off, I was like inviting people kind of quickly. But then I realized that I was just building that relationship and just kind of starting to build that trust. And then after I was like showing that I was like consistent with myself on social media, when people would ask me, I would kind of share from my heart, because when I first started, I immediately signed up as a coach for the extra accountability, like just to tell everybody what I was doing. So when I shared from my heart, like, listen, like I signed up as a coach because I knew I wanted the extra accountability. This is what I did. People could tell that I was sharing from my heart, and it may not be best for everybody. I kind of want to hear their goals first, because if I think they just want to be a discount coach, you know, they still can, that's fine. And I don't want to sign up too many discount coaches, but I think just getting more comfortable with myself and like coaching and like my progress made it easier for me to invite from the beginning when people would reach out, because I just started sharing from my heart rather than following the scripts, which is what I was doing in the beginning, and it felt kind of uncomfortable.
I love that. I'm back.
Okay.
So
I don't know if you I don't know if you heard all of it, but it was just basically like, as I was inviting at first and I got a lot of no's, but I realized that I was just kind of planting the seeds for people. And then I got a lot of those same people reach back out to me after they saw that I was like actually doing something, and they were like, okay, wait a second, like, what is this? And then I was able to just kind of, since they were reaching out to me, I could just share from my heart, like, this is what I did. And they, it really connected with them.
I love that. Okay, so that is an amazing tip, especially for new coaches or anybody who has maybe kind of burned through their like warm market or their first crop of people, and now they don't really have as many people, or they're hearing more no's. So it's super natural for you to not get a lot of traction in the beginning. So a great way of explaining this, Lindsay Matway was talking about this, and she said, some coaches come into this and they just hit the ground running. They, sell all these challenge packs, they recruit all these people, and they don't seem to have a lot of trouble. And then other coaches come in and they just hear no after no after no after no. And she was like, what is the difference if they're both saying the same things to people? And her theory is that it has to do with what she calls social media karma, which is basically like the network that you come into this with and the way that you've already been on social media. So if you've already been someone on social media who, is really interactive and has a following that really trusts you and cares about what you're saying, then it may be easier for you in the beginning than someone who doesn't use social media or hasn't used it in that way, and you're having to build it up. And there's not anything wrong with that at all. But this is a great example of how to do that, is go ahead and invite people, be okay with them saying no, because you are planting that seed, and then just continue to be consistent either way, because they'll be watching you and they'll see like, oh my gosh, Krista's like really doing this. Like, she's serious. Like, look, she's lost weight. She's made friends. Like, she's advancing in her business. Like, maybe I'm going to reach back out to her and see what this is about. And then as you keep going, the more consistent you are, the more confident you're going to feel, and you can just share from the heart. So the scripts are there, not necessarily for you to use them for your entire career, but just to give you like a springboard to kind of jump off from, so that when you're brand new and you have no idea what to say, you kind of have an idea. But yeah, you can absolutely throw them to the wayside once you feel comfortable just talking off the cuff about your own journey. I love that. Okay, so I lost my chat when I got kicked out. I don't know who else had said me. So who else had said me for tips on recruiting?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go on that. Okay. So, well, first I had a question for Krista, but I think she just answered it in the chat about why she said she doesn't do a lot of discount coaches.
Yeah, I can answer that quickly. I typed it out, but it's not that I won't sign up discount coaches, but for me, since I'm building to diamond, I don't want to just sign up somebody who thinks that they might be interested in the discount. I would almost rather sign them up as a challenger first and have them do it and then sign them up as a discount coach, only because I'm worried about building my entire business on people who are just going to fall through the cracks. So it's not that I won't sign up. I do have like 2 discount coaches underneath me, but I try and like talk to them first to really figure out their kind of interest and motivation in signing up.
Okay. So, cause my tip is, I guess a different way of thinking, but so when people are signing up, I tell them, if you think you're at least going to do this for 3 months, you should really think about the 25% discount that you can get if you sign up to be a coach. And automatically people are like, I don't want to post. I'm not a coach. I can't do that. And I'm like, no. There's no business obligation. You don't have to post anything. You don't even have to tell anybody that you are a coach. You're only signing up for the discount. That's why they call them discount coaches, and they're like, oh, well, tell me a little bit more, and so that's how I've gotten a lot of my discount coaches, because some people do want to stay in it for at least 3 months, and see how they're doing on the shakes and see if it helps your body. And honestly, for the years of damage that people have done to their bodies, 3 months of clean eating and Shakeology and workouts is really, a good jumping start for most people, so that's how I've gotten a lot of my discount coaches, is first pushing, the discount if they're going to stick with it. And then 2 people have surprised me back and saying, well, I might also be interested in the business. I'm like, oh, really? So now we're kind of like, talking about that. They've just been discount coaches for a couple of months, and I had no idea. One of them is an entrepreneur, and I had no idea she would even be interested. And she was like, so tell me a little bit more. And so now we're talking more. So I guess it's just a different way of looking at things.
Yeah. So 2 really good tips. So I'm really glad both of you guys just went back to back, because these are really great tips and just 2 different strategies, neither one right or wrong. And I love a couple nuggets out of both of these. So the point that Krista made about the fact that she is building to diamond and she doesn't want to just sign up people kind of who don't even know if they're going to like this or want to do it, because then she kind of can't count on them for the team that she's building, is a great point. So if you have goals of building to diamond and beyond and growing a substantial business, then you don't necessarily want to do it on all discount coaches, especially not if it's someone who doesn't even know if they're going to like it or want to do it, because those people are notoriously wishy-washy, and you don't necessarily just want to sign up people and have them canceling all the time, because that's stressful for you with your rank. But Tammy's point is really great as well, and something that was important for me in the beginning of my journey, because when I started, I had 70 pounds to lose. So that's not something I was going to accomplish in a month in a challenge group, right? Like, I had a long-term goal. So when you have challengers that have a goal that's like substantial, that they're going to really have to be plugged in for a while, then it is an awesome opportunity to talk to them about signing up as a discount coach, because what better way for them to actually stick it out than being able to get that discount? You know, like, for a lot of people, that $30 savings on Shakeology is kind of what makes or breaks whether they stay on it or not. Plus, you can kind of plug them into the community, let them really see how supportive it is, and that can help them stick around too. So for me, when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it would be stupid for me to not sign up as a coach, because I know I'm going to want more than a month's worth of this stuff. I know I'm going to want to try more than one workout program. So when I talk to people who tell me like, oh, I want to do 21-day fix and then I want to try PIO, I'm like, all right, well, let me talk to you about signing up as a discount coach, because if you're going to be buying more than one program, I feel like a jerk if I don't even tell you about this discount. But like Krista said, when you are recruiting that way, don't build your rank based on it, because those people can be wishy-washy. So when you're building for Diamond, or when you're building for Star Diamond, and even before that, Emerald and Ruby, always still be keeping in mind that you want to be looking for and talking to people who actually do want to build, because those are the people who are really going to become your leaders in the future. All right. Aleka, you want to go next? Did I say that right? Tell me if I said your name wrong so I don't say it wrong.
Aleka.
Okay.
Okay, and because it is kind of like a combo of Tammy and Krista's idea, I noticed like initially the coaches who had signed up they did tend to be really wishy-washy. Like, you can tell Lynette, my big goal was hit Diamond in 3 months, and I had to get one more coach, and 4 of my coaches dropped off out of nowhere, and I was, like, no, put a lot of effort into, but in being upset, I kind of had a mindset change where I was going to, not that I wasn't initially making like a deep connection with them, but starting off with that deep connection and then building it on. So while I didn't hit my goal of doing it in 3 months, and instead it was almost 5, you can at the same time, like, offering them that discount. Like, this past week I finally got to get a car, and it was at my dad's work, and you get to talk with the car salesman, and they've known me for a while because my dad's worked there forever. So you get to show your story, but it's not only through Facebook. Like, well, I think that Facebook is such an awesome tool, but like also in-person reactions. Like, even if they're people that you wouldn't even consider to be, business building coaches, they see the transformation that you have, even if it's just like, for me, it's mostly mental, and they get to see that. And then they're far more interested. And then if you offer the discount, then they're like, oh yeah, she's really trying to help me. You also get to save money. So I think, just doing a nice combo of the two.
Yeah, that's a great point. And congratulations to you too, because this was a big day for you. Congratulations. That's a great way of bridging it. So offering the discount from the beginning is great, but making sure that you're still building that relationship and not being afraid to talk about what you're doing face-to-face with people. I think that's definitely huge. Because, we are in the relationship business. It doesn't all have to be on social media. I was at a wedding for a friend just a couple days ago, And I've been a coach for 2.5 years, and even still I get like a little bit weird in person talking up to people about what I do, mostly because I'm awkward in person and an introvert. But also sometimes because it's like people ask me what I do and I can't like figure out how I want to describe it in the moment. And then in my head, I'm like, you have to say something. Like people are waiting for you to respond to them. And in my head, it feels like it's like stretching out for a really long time. Like this little voice is like, speak. I like, don't know what to say. So in the moment at this wedding, this girl asked me what I did. And I just said, well, I'm a virtual fitness coach. Which I was like, oh, that sounds so stupid. Why'd you explain it like that, you know? Because I'm always like, oh, I'm a health and fitness mentor. I'm a virtual fitness coach. Sometimes they say I'm a Beachbody coach. I like, can't figure out how I like to explain it. But I just told her I was a virtual fitness coach. And my friend was there, and he like started awkwardly bragging on me. And he was like, Becca just quit photography to be a traveling virtual fitness coach. Now she's in an RV, and this is what she does. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so mortifying. And the girl just kind of looked at me and like nodded her head. And I was like, oh, that was so embarrassing. But then like half an hour later, she came up to me and she goes, hey, so I hope this isn't really uncomfortable, but can you tell me more about what being a virtual fitness coach means? Because I am a stay-at-home mom, and I recently just went back to work and I hate it and I want to stay home with my kids. And I was like, yeah, I can tell you about it. So the in-person talking about it can definitely be good. And I think instantly add a level of credibility rather than someone seeing a Facebook ad or seeing a Facebook post, because they're seeing you in person. They know you're a real human. You know, they're hearing about what you're doing like face to face. And I think that is really important. So I love that. Okay. Last topic is rank. Rank advancing, making rank goals, how to hold rank. You can go in whatever direction you want to go with this. So chime in with me if you have something you want to share. So if you're a new coach here, rank is just describing kind of the different promotional business levels you can hit as a coach. So you hear people say, I'm an emerald coach, I'm a diamond coach, I'm a star diamond coach. Those are ranks. The first one is emerald, then ruby, then diamond, then star diamond. The highest one you can be is a 15-star diamond. Each one comes with its own perks. So, for example, like I said in the beginning of the call, when you advance to emerald, you start being able to earn income in your business, not only from commissions, but also from team volume. So you're opening up basically this limitless potential for yourself and your business. When you advance to ruby, you get a raise on how much you earn for your team volume. When you advance to diamond, you get another raise in how much you earn. When you advance to 2-star diamond, you open yourself up to being part of the Star Diamond quarterly bonus pool, and that goes up with 5-star diamond, up with 10, and up with 15. So basically, there's just different perks and incentives. You also get different recognition perks through the company, all that kind of stuff. So what I like to do with my new coaches is, if they want to be business builders, is I kind of talk to them about, where do you want to go with this? Like, is this something that you want to replace your income? Do you want to build a full-time income? Do you just want to make a little bit of extra money here and there? Because I want to know if they're going to need to rank advance, right? So if a new coach is like, yeah, I just want to make like enough money to cover my Shakeology, they probably never even need to rank advance, because they can do that just hitting Success Club every month in commissions. If there's a coach that says, I want to supplement our family's income, I want to make a part-time income, then I'm like, okay, this person is going to need to rank advance a little bit, but they maybe don't need to like be crazy. And then if it's someone that's like, hey, I'm serious, I want to quit my job in a couple of years, so like we got to make this happen, then in my head I go, okay, they're going to build a team. Like, I know that this is important. And as a mentor, that helps me give them mile markers. So I'll say, okay, like let's work on getting you to that first one of emerald. All right, now let's pick a date for diamond. All right, like now let's talk about this. And that helps me as a mentor lead them. So my tip for rank would be, when you have your new coaches and you do your getting started right call, ask them about their goals, business and financially. Don't be afraid to talk about that stuff, because we're all business people and you're the person that's, you know, helping them and mentoring them. So it's good for you as a mentor to know where people want to go. And then you can use that to help set mile markers for them. When I have new coaches, sometimes they'll be like, I want to hit emerald by next year. And I'm always like, no. You're going to do it way sooner than that. It's only 2 people. Come on. And you can be the one that helps build that confidence in them and let them know what's possible and what they can achieve, because sometimes people just don't even know for themselves. All right. Let's see. Who's going to talk here? Are these me's ones that want to talk? Tammy and Lynette and Alika? Or are you just saying you're awkward like me?
Oh yeah, I was just commenting on the awkward and
Yeah, I was just saying I'm awkward.
because I found like so I work with a bunch of engineers and they're all very intelligent people and they're just out at NASA and they're very intimidating and they just, you know, I would never strike up a conversation about fitness with them, but I've started opening up, you know, my Facebook to more people and I'm not as private as I used to be. And so I've, you know, gotten a lot of coworkers that way and they'll stop me and ask me or like they'll say stuff or they'll see my lunch and like, you know, some of them, it seems like they're picking, you know, but I try to make it fun and light. Like they'll say, you know, are you going to post a picture of that, you know, salad today or something? But all I do is say, okay, well, that lets me know you're seeing it, you know, and I try not to like say, oh my God, you know, that guy doesn't like my food posts, you know, who cares? So, but it's funny to see, you know, in person because they'll say like, how do you like hammer and chisel? I'm like, it's great. And, you know, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing? Like, why didn't I tell him like about, you know, like how it's two different trainers and, you know, if you, I don't know. It's just, I feel like, but all the time. So because I know that I do that all the time, what I do is in those moments when I'm like, I should have said this or that or whatever, I send them a message. I'm like, hey, sorry, I was preoccupied earlier. I was, you know, dealing with this or that. And what I really wanted to tell you was, and then, you know, I'll send them the message of whatever it is, you know, I was thinking of after the fact.
I love that. Okay, so let's divert for a second since so many of you are awkward, and let's talk about being awkward when talking to other people and your best tips for, let's see, crisis management when you've been super awkward and you don't know what to do next, how you get over being awkward, how you just deal with being awkward, how you rock being awkward and make it work in your favor. Does anybody have anything they can share for this? I love, while you're saying me in the chat, and I want to see a bunch of me's, or I will pick people. I love what Tammy said. That's a great tip. So if you stumble over your words or you say something silly or you leave and you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's so easy to just send someone a message like, oh, sorry, you caught me off guard, or I was distracted by my kids or my work or whatever. And I totally forgot to say, I love hammer and chisel because of this and this and this, or whatever it is. That's a great point. Don't be afraid to do that, because I know if I got a message from somebody like that, I'd be like, oh, cool. And I'd probably ask them more questions about it. Okay, Lynette, tell us about awkwardness.
Okay, so I've been queen of awkward for like the entire time that I've been a coach. Like really, like I don't ever talk to people about it because I get like, Anyway, so, but I've started more, like before it was in the back of my head, like I need to share what I'm doing, I need to share what I'm doing, and I kind of stopped that. And now I'm just talking to people like more like they're my friend, and it comes off a lot better. Like just in this example of like for today, I was checking out at our local like health food store, and she was joking about my diaper bag because it's huge. It's not a diaper bag anymore, but it's literally like, and she was like, wow, like my back would be so sore if I carried that. And I just joked and I was like, I work out a lot. And I was like, I work out my core. And she was like, well, how do you core? And it just very naturally led into, I was like, well, I'm a health and fitness coach actually. And my favorite program to like work out my core, I do PIO. And she's like, well, what's PIO? You know, and we were just able to like chit chat about it. And it was awesome. By the end, I showed her like 3 different core moves from PIO. And, you know, unfortunately she can't follow me because she's not on Facebook. And then enter awkwardness. I didn't say, well, hey, let me give you my, or anything like that, which I should have actually. But I know she works there, and next time I go in, I can just be like, hey, how those PIO moves working out for you? Did you get a huge bag yet? You know, whatever. So I think that things like that have really kind of gotten easier. I met somebody in Aldi the other day who was like, hey, I think I've seen you on Facebook. Like, are you a friend of so-and-so? And Yeah, I am actually. And by the end, like I added her as a friend and we talked and I've invited her to a challenge and stuff. But like as soon as I got home, we just naturally talked about like the vegetables. And then when we got home, I messaged her and I was like, hey, it was so good to chit chat in Aldi. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better through social media. Hopefully I'll see you again sometime, maybe Aldi, something like that. And it's just, I've stopped trying so hard, I think. And that's where it's gotten a lot easier. It's like, just, I get awkward when I try.
No, that's great. So that's a really good point. So just talking to everybody like they're friends and stop thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to make a sale out of every conversation, because you don't have to put that pressure on yourself. And don't be afraid to be silly, make jokes, be lighthearted, roll with it. And if you do fumble over your words or forget something, like Lynette said, don't like freak out about it, judge yourself. Like she said, next time she goes in there, she'll just say hi and reconnect, and maybe that'll be a time when she can, get some sort of contact information from the girl or whatever. Or even if not, that's okay, because she's still building a relationship with that person. Anybody else have any tips on awkwardness, how to get over being awkward? Danny, go ahead.
So I feel awkward all the time. And what I've had to like come to terms with, or something that really helped me, was realizing that like everybody feels awkward at different times. And so like literally the people that I'm talking to, they probably feel awkward too. And so like we can both just be awkward, or I don't know, like in the conversation not go anywhere, or I can kind of just own it and say, let me be uncomfortable so that you don't have to. And like, it's usually like 10 seconds in that things are back to normal, or, maybe I hate to call it power, but some of it has kind of shifted in my direction, and I have a little bit more confidence at least, it's kind of usually just getting through that first few seconds, I feel like, in an awkward situation, and maybe biting the bullet and just, I don't know, like laughing at yourself and enjoying it, kind of what was just said. But at the same time, I just try to remember that other people feel that way too. And that really, really helps me, let me be uncomfortable so that they don't have to. I mean, it's kind of simple, but it's and generic, but I feel like it really applies to most of those situations.
Yeah, that's so good. And like one of those, like where you want to smack your head because you're like, why didn't I think of that? If you're feeling awkward, then odds are like other people are in their head thinking, oh my God, I'm so awkward too, like, so just be okay with it and roll with it. And I love that. Like, let me feel awkward so other people don't have to, and just telling yourself, like, let's just get through these couple seconds of it. It's going to be easier at the end. Embrace the awkward. Maybe we should, this would be funny, you guys, but only if people actually do it. Why don't we start a post like series in the team page whenever you have a super awkward moment, coaching moment, and where you just come in and you say that moment when, and then you share your story, and then you hashtag it, embrace the awkward. And we'll just start like a whole thing of funny, awkward moments. There's a group that I'm in that's like a women entrepreneur group, and they have these things called boss moments. So like anytime you do something like badass or have something awesome, people come in and go boss moment, whatever. So let's do an embrace the awkward one where everybody just shares. I think this will be really good and hilarious, first of all, but also good just because everyone will see that everyone else is awkward too, and we can all learn from each other and commiserate when someone has a super awkward moment and tell them it'll be okay. So when you have some, come in the team page and share them. Jay, come and share.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. I grew up a redhead when being gingers weren't cool, so I've always been awkward. And I'm also a 45-year-old dude trying to sell Beachbody products to 20-year-old women. So I've always been, when I was younger, really shy. When I finally finished high school, it was, I don't care what other people think anymore. And I didn't care if I failed. I didn't care if I fell down because I always knew I stood up. So for me, I learned how to not be awkward by being awkward when I was younger. Yeah. So I kept it real. I kept it myself. And all I cared about was what I needed to do, what I needed to accomplish for myself. I just got married 3 years ago, so now it's what I care about for my family and the kids I inherited with my wife. And I say inherited, but they're awesome because they teach me more about life than anything else. But I also, the awkwardness comes from the experiences you have. You know, being as old as I never admit to, I've gone through working in fast food. I sold vacuum cleaners for a while. I've been a youth soccer coach. I work in IT. I used to be a DJ. I've had strange jobs, but I take the experiences from all of them to learn different types of awkwardness and then bring it back to, what do I got to do today? That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you're just realizing that it's going to happen and learning just to keep it real and focusing on your goals to get through it. Kind of like how Danny said, like, just realize you just got to get through the awkwardness to focus on what you're trying to accomplish. I love that. And also, Jay, you could always market to other guys your age. You don't have to market to girls if it feels like it's too hard. There are lots of guys that need fitness for. We have another coach. I don't think he's on the call because I don't think he can make them at the time. But there's another coach named Ian who is a dad as well who's joining our team. And I know he has a lot of the same things where he's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in a woman's world here. But I think it's time for the men to rise up a little bit. So I'm excited that we have you guys here. Anybody else have any tips on awkward? I think I'm going to close it with awkward because I really like this even better than rank. Anybody have any last ones they want to share? Anybody have a super awkward coaching moment that they survived that they'd be willing to share? An anecdote? Go get them, Tammy. Oh, go, Tina.
This is super awkward. Okay, so I think it was a good 3 or 4 months ago when I just was getting out and inviting people, and there was a girl that I got in touch with from high school, and she was super nice. It had been a really long time. I didn't do my due diligence and look at her page to see really what she was about, and I just started sharing about Beachbody and coaching and everything that I had done for me. I said, you'd be a great person. I'd love to work with you and have you on our team. So she messaged me back and she said, have you ever heard of isogenics? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, my dad is a creator of isogenics. And I was like, that's great. And I didn't even know what to say. It was so awkward and I felt like an idiot. And all I could say was, well, we have really great workouts that I'm sure you would really like. And I just was like digging a hole and trying to fix it. And I was just like, loser. So I learned to really do a good job at checking people out before I just blab my mouth about the company and coaching. And it was super awkward, but I survived.
So this is a great tip I'm adding in. Avoid awkward moments by taking time to do a little bit of research on people before you pitch to them. That's a good one. I'll have an awkward moment I'll admit to. It was probably like my second year being a coach, not full year, but like calendar year. So I was still just kind of like figuring stuff out, stock before the awk. Oh, we need to make that into a t-shirt. That's so funny. So I was sending out like a bunch of follow-up messages and I totally sent at least 10 to the wrong names because I was copying and pasting. I got like one off on my list and all of these people wrote me back like, you couldn't even take the time to look at who you were writing to. And I was like, oh no. And then I had to like write them back and backpedal and be like, I'm so sorry. I got like one off on where I was looking and there was just no salvaging it. I lost all of them because they were just like, oh, she's just mass sending. Everybody thinks she doesn't even care about me. And so pro tip, avoid that by slowing down and making sure when you copy and paste that you change any of the names in your script that you need. That was really awkward. But I mean, we all learn from these things, right? So Tina learned, do a little bit of Facebook stalking. I learned, double check all your copy and pastes. Lynette learned that it's okay to forget stuff. You'll just talk to them next time. Did you have another one, Lynette?
Yeah, I actually literally, we're just going to see how this pans out yet. Because tonight I actually, somebody messaged me today and asked me about the coaching opportunity. She's like, I don't think we know each other, but like, I really want to know more about joining your team. And I messaged her back and I thought she was someone else because I have 2 hoopers on my page that like, and she had a picture of herself hooping and the lighting isn't very good. And I thought it was this other hooper. And so I wrote her and I was like, oh, I'm so obsessed with all your hooping videos. I love the leggings you had on, blah, 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 blah. That's not her. And she has yet to respond to me. And I had to message her. I literally messaged her back when I realized, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was thinking you were this other hooper that I know. And then I went through like a whole page and was like, I love your nose ring and your quote and blah, blah, blah. See, really, I know who you are. Oh my gosh. So we'll see how that turns out. I probably just lost a coach.
Aww. That's sad. I've done that before when I had people with the same name that were like messaging me, and so I like their pictures are real small, and I was like, oh yeah, how's the baby? And they're like, I don't have kids. I'm like, sorry, there's like 10 Sarahs I'm talking to right now. I'm sorry. But that doesn't make anybody feel better when you're like, oh, you're just one of 100. No big deal. I don't even know who you are. No good. So sometimes we do have to slow down a little bit. And it happens. And all of us, if you're a coach long enough, you're going to have at least one very mortifying, embarrassing moment, I'm sure. It's fine. Okay, so this was an incredible call. Does everybody like Sip and Share? This is a cool call model. I was thinking of doing this like once a month and just having different topics that we can all share on, because I think it's really fun just to get to hear from everybody, and also just to have, more people sharing and more perspectives and more ideas, because collectively, all these brains are better than just mine. So I want to hear your guys' ideas and what works for you guys too. And I think it's cool for you guys to hear from each other, because if you are more similar in what you're doing to someone else on our team than me, it may be more helpful for you to hear what they're doing instead of just me. Chug and Chime might get more. Well, we can play with the name. You guys can give me name suggestions. So yes, you guys like this for like a once a month thing? Can't really see. Okay, yeah, I see heads nodding. Good. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I don't know if my recording's going to work because I got kicked off, but if it does, I'll put it on YouTube. If not, I'm going to throw all of the tips up in a Google Doc in our team page, so you guys have them to access and to share with your coaches who weren't here if they want to see them. But so great to hear from you guys. Thank you to everybody who took the time to be here. Thank you for everybody who shared their tips. It was incredible. I had so much fun, and I'll see you guys online. Bye.